Hey, what's up everybody? My name's PersNikity, and welcome back to Uncharted, Drake's Fortune. This is my brutal difficulty walkthrough, and we are moving on to Chapter 5, The Fortress. The level starts off relatively simple. We just gotta do some climbing. That's the fun part of the game. Then we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty combat. But for the most part, for the first part at least, you can take a breather. Most of the combat in this level actually isn't too tough. There is one section at the end of this chapter which is possibly one of the most difficult sections in the game, but we'll get to that when we get to it. But so someone was asking me, one of my friends recently, why I love this game so much. And while I can say there's a lot of reasons, or they weren't asking me necessarily why I love the game so much, but when I told them that I was playing this game for like my 15th time, they just couldn't believe it. And the way I relate to it is, or the way I relate it is, I remember a long time ago I read this study that covered why do people enjoy watching reruns so much. So I know that people like me, kids in the who grew up in the 90s, we always enjoy watching reruns of SpongeBob and Family Guy and South Park and shows like that. And the study showed that the reason people love watching those reruns is because it's calming. There's no suspense. You've already seen the episode, you enjoy the show, and you know what's going to happen. And so it's kind of like a meditative, relaxing thing to do. And that is how I kind of treat this game. I've played this game so many times, and it's just become a way for me to relax. So when I have a week with like a lot of midterms or things like that, I just love to start a new game and play it again. But anyway, you're going to come to this area here, and this is where we get into the combat. Before running through this doorway, you can actually pick off about 3 or 4 of the enemies. You see there, like 3 simple headshots. You can kill a couple of these guys before even going out there, and what'll happen is you do face the risk of someone rushing you, like you saw that guy do right there. If you see someone start rushing you, simply kind of retreat back inside and let him come to you, and then once he gets close enough, you can melee him to death. It's a really good way to save ammo, and it'll make your time a little bit easier. The only thing you got to worry about is you don't want to go out to melee him. You want to make sure he comes in, because if you go out, there are still some guys out here that will have a pretty easy time shooting you if you go too far out of this doorway. And this is one of the guys. So you see this guy up here, he's on this archway, and it can be hard to shoot him because this tree is in the way, but if you aim your weapon long enough, either one, you'll be able to spot him through the trees, or 2, he'll pop out momentarily and you can use that to your advantage to shoot him. Be patient, make sure that that guy is dead, because he's going to be your biggest threat. He's the one that makes it really hard, and then what you're going to do is you're going to venture out a little further now, take cover behind this wall, and there's going to be another guy up here. Take him out, and now there's one more guy you got to worry about, and he's in a really difficult place. You see he's right here, kind of behind us on this upper wall, and it's really hard to get an angle on him with this wall in the way. So what you're going to kind of have to do is run over here, change your vantage point, and you should be able to pick him off. Obviously, headshots are going to do the job the quickest, but if you can't pull off a headshot, like you see right here, this angle's just not really working for me. So I think I ended up right there. I think I hit him, but it's a tough angle. It's a tough angle to connect the shot. Alright, and with this area clear, you'll know it's clear because the music will die down and no one will be shooting at you anymore. So with the area clear, you're going to want to scavenge all the ammo you can. Remember, that's kind of our #1 thing on Brutal, is to scavenge the area. And you see right here, I got lucky. I ran out and there was still one guy left alive. So that is not a mistake you want to make, because it would be a real shame to get killed by that guy after you've done so much. So you might want to even be a little more cautious than me and make sure 100% this area is clear before you move up those steps up to this wall here. But yeah, so back to, you know, this game. I've played it so many times, and the Uncharted franchise as a whole is actually my #1 favorite video game franchise of all time. And I recently started another playthrough of Uncharted 4, and this time I'm getting all the collectibles. That's something I haven't yet done. And as I was playing, I just noticed like all the little Easter eggs referencing the older Uncharted games, and it just made me really nostalgic and made me want to go through all of this again for my YouTube channel. Now you're going to get to this area here with this kind of short little tunnel. If you approach it from the left, I think that's the easiest angle or the easiest side to come at it from. You can take out the two guys in the tunnel with no problem. Then you're going to see some guys over there by the truck. Take them out, and there's actually an explosive barrel that you can shoot, and if you time it right, it'll take out like 2 or 3 of the guys with it. Once you don't see any more guys from that angle, you can venture into the tunnel here. So you see there's a guy behind the truck, and if you shoot that explosive barrel, you have a pretty high chance of making contact. And so now with everyone clear out of that side, you can see this guy kind of to the left. And so what you're going to do is just use the method of alternative cover. Aim your weapon and rotate the camera until that guy is, you know, visible in your crosshairs, and then you're going to take him out. And then the only thing you got to be careful about here, this part's actually not too difficult. The only thing you have to worry about is you can hear this guy shooting away on the turret. So what you're going to do is pop out, and you see there that when he's done shooting the turret, he actually turns, and when he turns, you can get a really simple headshot. And then lastly, there are 1 or 2 guys up on this wall here, but they're standing right next to explosive barrels. So if you shoot those barrels, the explosion will most likely take them out. And so there you see, that's basically you took out 2 guys on the wall and the turret guy with a total of 2 or 3 bullets. So that's a really efficient way to do that. Run around, scavenge ammo, find grenades, and try to save your grenades, because those are going to come in handy later at the end of this level. They become incredibly important, so try to find as many of them as you can. Now when you come into this room here, get ready, because a guy is going to pop out of this doorway at the end of the room. So what you're going to want to do is just sprint towards this box here and dive. Don't even try to fight this guy right away. Just make sure you get behind cover. Sit there. If he tries to throw a grenade at you, shoot him so that he drops it. If he doesn't try to shoot a grenade at you, then just wait for him to pop out of cover and shoot him the old-fashioned way. But believe it or not, that is one guy that he serves a huge threat. It's really crazy in this game how, you know, in most games when you wipe out the entire wave of enemies, when there's one left, it's not that much to worry about. But on brutal difficulty in this game, even one enemy can ruin your entire day. And that guy right there is very good at doing that. So you just want to make sure you enter that room cautiously and that you're prepared for him to pop out of that doorway. And so if you ascend the staircase here, you'll be prompted to press a little QuickTime button, but you're going to be prompted to press triangle, and that will initiate a short little cutscene before jumping into the next section of combat.
Elena, what the hell's she doing?
Hello?
Buka Pintu!
Siapa ini? Bicara sekarang.
Ah, crap. Sialano! Cepatan, buka pintu! Ah, tai! It worked! There he is! Up there! Get on the gun! Oh boy.
Alright, so after that cutscene, you're going to get basically thrown right into the action. Run over here, shoot the lock off of this gate, and now all of the enemies are going to be down there in the area where we came from. It turns out that since we have the high ground here, it's actually really easy to take these guys out. So the game will actually respawn the explosive barrels, so shoot those first and foremost, and that will hopefully take out quite a few of the guys. One of the guys, as you can hear, he's going to jump back on that turret. So don't run too far out, otherwise that turret will get you. But he's basically going to do the same thing as the guy before. As soon as he's done shooting, he's going to turn, and when he turns, that's your golden opportunity to shoot him. Make sure you clear out any remaining guys down here with assault rifles, and then what's going to happen is there's actually a guy with a shotgun, and he's a really tricky enemy to kill because he will always hide directly under you, and he basically will remain invisible until you jump down. But if you're aware that he's down there, if you're ready for him, you can kill him without jumping down. So you see the reason I'm standing here and rotating the camera is because I know he's down here, but he has a tendency to stand directly under you. So you saw, if you're looking closely at the very bottom of the screen, you saw him move. And so the best thing you can try to do is just run around and turn these corners and shoot him before he has an opportunity to follow you. And you'll see that's exactly what I was able to do here. I ran to this other side, drew him out of cover, and took him out. Now once he's dead, depending on what weapon you use, there's actually the West 44 on this table in here, which is an incredibly powerful weapon, so you might as well pick that up. In fact, if you want to, that would be a good weapon to save for the last part of this level. So basically, we have two more things to worry about. We have this tunnel that we're going to be approaching in a couple seconds, and then we have the water room, which is the very end of the level. The water room is incredibly tough, and I recommend trying to save your grenades and save your West 44 ammo specifically for that room. So for the tunnel here, you're primarily going to want to try to use your assault rifle or shotgun or whatever your secondary weapon is. Now, this is the tunnel I was talking about, and at the very end, there's another turret, and this guy's going to hop on, and he's going to shoot at you in bursts. Pretty simple to do here. In between bursts, that's when you're going to make your move down the tunnel. So you see here, once he stops shooting, you're going to climb up here, and you do have to be ready because there is going to be a guy up here in the room to our right, so just make sure you are prepared for that. Again, try to use your secondary weapon. Don't waste the West 44 ammo. So you see here, as soon as he's done shooting, in between bursts, I'm going to jump up here, ready my weapon, because this guy's going to charge you, and you're just going to want to shoot him as quickly as possible. And don't worry, he's the only guy in this room that you'll have to worry about. Now with him out of the way, there's going to be a grenade launcher on this table here, so pick that up and use it to destroy the turret. So standing up here, just easily wait for him to shoot his burst, and then shoot the grenade launcher over there to take him out in one hit. And then of course, run back in here. You can keep the grenade launcher if you want, but personally I recommend using a gun with more ammo for the next section. But you see there's two grenades on the table right there, so make sure you absolutely pick those up. And if you're lucky, if you've been preparing for this, you'll have 4 grenades going into the water room. If not, 2 should be fine, but obviously 4 will make your life slightly easier. Now when you drop into this room here, you're going to just get bombarded by enemies seemingly from all directions. That's when you're going to want to use that West 44 you picked up earlier and try to take out that guy up on the balcony first. This guy has a good chance of running to your right, so try to take him out before he's able to get this far up. But if you're not able to get him out quick enough, then you can just kind of venture out of cover for a second and take him out. Now this is a good spot because there is a wall in front of you and there's also a pillar directly to your left. And so you see here that once you take out that first small wave of enemies, that's when some enemies are going to come from your left. And that's why this is a good location, because this pillar is able to protect us from this oncoming wave of enemies. So I don't know what that little glitch was. I guess once in a while my capture card has a tendency to like glitch or freeze or something. But yeah, so you see there, again, that guy tried to run behind me, and that's where it's really useful to have the West 44, because it's basically a one-hit kill. So even if an enemy sneaks up on you like that, you know, it's a lot easier to get rid of them under those tough situations. But you can see here how I'm basically staying in this section for most of the water room fight. This is a really good place to take cover. Take this guy out when you get the chance, and then once you do that, you're going to make a run for it and get to this side of the room. And that's because, as you can imagine, the next wave of enemies is going to spawn exactly where we were just taking cover, and so you want to try to make a run for it as quickly as possible. Now keep in mind, there is still a guy up there on that ledge to our left. We're basically going to save him for last. If you're hiding in this area, again, you can see why this is a good spot. There's a wall in front of me and there's a pillar to my left. That means that the only way the enemies can get to me is from the right and from directly behind me. The good thing is, because you have a wall directly behind you, they're going to have a really hard time coming at you from that location, which means the only way they can actually get to you physically is from the right. And so that should help you take out these guys. Now, when you get a chance, you can take out that guy, and now what's going to happen is the last little wave of enemies is going to spawn, and this is going to be 3 shotgun enemies. Now, the shotguns do not do a lot of damage at far distances, so you really want to take advantage of this early time where they're charging you. So you see there, I actually pulled off a headshot really quickly. I was able to take down one of them, and then boom, took down the other with like 1 or 2 bullets to spare. So I got a bit lucky there at the end. But the good news is, like I said, the shotgun is a terrible weapon at long distance. So even if you run out of ammo, what you can do is just run away and pick up any weapon you can find and use it to take out the shotgun enemy. This is a pretty big room, so you have a good chance of surviving if you do that. And there's guns all over the place because, like I said, enemies will spawn from seemingly all directions, and so you won't have to travel too far to find a new weapon. And so, as per usual, once you finish the firefight, take this chance to stock up on weapons and everything like that. Get up here, turn this crank, and then you're going to have to solve, I don't know if you'd even call it a puzzle, it's nothing difficult, but you're going to just have to do 2 more quick things, and you will bring on the end of this chapter. And then we're going to be moving to Chapter 6, which is very similar to this chapter, actually. It's not too difficult all in all, but there is like one particular section I can think of that is really difficult. So this water room that we just got past, that was tough, and in my opinion, it's one of the toughest sections in the game. But with the right strategy and with the right approach and knowing where a good spot to take cover is, you should have a good chance of surviving it, you know, with only a couple of deaths. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Like and subscribe if you get the chance. Let me know what you think of this walkthrough in the comments below. One thing I try to do with my walkthroughs is I try to make them not only helpful, but entertaining. That way, even if you've already beaten this game, you can still kind of watch this as a playthrough and enjoy it for that instead of like a helpful walkthrough. So I'm always eager to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. But anyway, guys, there you go. Climb these stairs and you'll be done with Chapter 5. See you later.